The sky has totally blown up. It looks absolutely phenomenal. In this episode, we're on a beach.
Also, we visit an exclusive private balcony with the finest view for a day-to-night time-lapse.
That is a pretty sick view.
And we get to check out loads of cool architecture along our walk. So let's go.
Hey guys, how are you? Let's take another walk today, and we're starting from Pier Lock, which is this really cool estate, all white and really nice architecture here. I always admired this estate, and we're going to be walking along the Thames Path on the north side of the river around the Isle of Dogs. Today I'm shooting on a slightly different setup. I'm shooting on my Z6 with the 20mm f1.8, just handheld, no gimbal. And the one thing I'm also trying for the first time is the Synco G2 wireless microphone system that I hope will be performing great, because personally I before was using the Rode wireless system, the Mark 1 version, and Synco has reached out to me and said that would I be interested in having a look at their wireless system. So I always root for the underdog because Rode's been pretty good, and Synco is definitely much cheaper on the overall price of the system and the accessories, so I was willing to give it a try. So that's what we're trying today. I really like the view towards the Greenwich Peninsula from this Thames Path, north side of the river, and everything towards the sort of Providence Wharf cluster, New Wharf or something like that, I think it's called. I've been to one of these towers, the highest one, epic views from there. And actually tomorrow I'll be going to another tower that you can almost see in that cluster, but it should have a fantastic view towards the skyline. So if tomorrow I would have gone there, well, here's a time-lapse that I shot from it.
This was a private view from Blackwall. I wanted to visit this place for a long time. The building is called Elektron Tower, and there's no way of seeing this view other than from a private balcony. So when a kind new resident reached out to invite me to check out their view and shoot, it was a dream time-lapse opportunity come true. I took 3 bodies with me, 2 would shoot Holy Grail and 1 for photos and videos. The first body I set up towards the O2. I love this composition for how the Thames bends around the Greenwich Peninsula. You get to see all the river traffic, and when it gets dark, even the Emirates airline cable cars make a cameo appearance. The second body, the Z7 with the 14 to 30 f4, was the main event. 1 view, 2 epic skyline clusters, day to night, long exposure from start to finish in P mode with a variable ND filter, car and DLR traffic below, gorgeous sunset and pink sky after. I mean, you literally couldn't ask for more, so if this clip won't sell well on stock sites, I don't know what will. And later on, with the third body, I captured a few other time-lapse angles of the main view. So here's a 50mm and here's a super wide 12mm. And now back to Earth.
Most of the walk, we're going to be in the shade because the sunset is happening on the other side of the Isle of Dogs. But I just wanted this to be a nice walk around a part of the Thames Path that I've not walked for 5 or 6 years, and I knew that there's really nice views towards Greenwich Peninsula from here. This cool building behind me, I think, is a sewage pumping station, because I've seen it many times when shooting time-lapses towards Canary Wharf from Greenwich Peninsula. I've seen this building so many times from far away, and this is actually the first time in a long time that I'm seeing it up close. I really like the colorful detail on all these arches that are there that didn't have to be there yet back then when they were designing this building, because it's not quite a new building. They just been doing things like that. And I'm starting to see that the tide is going out, so we might get a chance to go down by the beach and not enjoy the sand because it's mostly pebbles and other sort of riverbed material. But walking on a beach in London is always an added bonus. Okay, how cool are these houses with a small garden overlooking the Thames that have a couple of floors and a balcony there? And behind me is a new development that hasn't been yet finished, but some of the colors of the sides of the buildings are looking really cool. I think it adds to the view from the other side. I'm not quite a fan of new buildings being brown. I like brutalism, but new buildings being brown, not so much of a fan. Don't quite remember what was here before, but I like it. If some of the other buildings will also add a little bit of color to this side, that will be pretty cool. Would love to see the view from the top there, but it doesn't look like any of these buildings have any rooftops. So yeah, it's all private residential apartments, unfortunately. While at the same time, I do hope they will finish it sooner than later, because they will have to open the Thames Path all the way. And at the moment it's closed, so we're gonna have to somehow weave around it. I'm pretty sure these estates were featured extensively in the Gangs of London series and weren't portrayed as the safest of parts. Yet on the Isle of Dogs, I think it's still a somewhat safe area, and yeah, it's not so bad. And this cool tower behind me is Kelson House. I had the chance once to be able to shoot from inside of this building, and from this side of the building, where it's a refuse bin area, the view towards the whole Canary Wharf skyline was epic. So I would love to try and ask one of the residents if they would be okay letting me in, because I would love to shoot that photo now, because that last time I was there, that was like, again, 2015, 2016, I think. Let's see how we get on. Believe it or not, we're in. One of the nice residents let me in because I've explained what I do and showed him my Instagram, and he said, yeah, definitely, go up and take a view. So he let me in past the concierge and the two fob entry system doors. So yeah, we're here. Let's take a few pictures. There's always this temptation of actually staying at a location and just continuing the time lapse for a day to night. But I don't like this one crane that's right in the middle of the composition, so I will probably wait until this development finishes, and then I'll come back here, because this view is absolutely epic. I completely forgot how good it was. This was fun, but let's continue along the Thames Path. And we have reached Folly House Beach, which is a really big, long beach for central London, you would think. Is it a nice beach? It's okay, I guess. It's not a sandy beach. Actually, I was wrong. There are sandy parts to the river. There's quite a lot of shores along the Thames that have a sandy part of the beach. So yeah, this kind of stuff is unfortunately what the river spits out onto the shore at low tide. So if you can take one thing from this, don't be a dick. Don't throw rubbish into the river. I know I've walked this path before, but I don't remember at all walking along this pier. Piers always offer a unique vantage point of the skyline available to shoot. And that would be why. Private jetty access for residents of probably this Millennium Wharf only. That's quite sad. I don't quite agree with this. Jetties like this should just be access to everyone, should be public, definitely. Don't agree with that. These buildings always remind me of kind of Dutch-style canal houses. Definitely familiar to my few visits to Amsterdam and Rotterdam. Really like it, and I've shot these buildings from the other side again quite a few times because they just look fascinating. Ooh, I like these pergola-style tunnels. Fancy. Okay, let's take a short break and talk about the microphone that I'm currently using. As I mentioned earlier, it's the Synco G2 A2. It comes with 2 wireless microphones and 1 receiver. I'm currently only using the 1 wireless transmitter and receiver in my pocket because I prefer using a lavalier microphone. So the transmitter is in my pocket and I've got a lavalier, as you can see in here, to cut out all the sort of unnecessary noise going on around me and just focus on my voice. It's pretty much the same setup that I've been using with my Rode wireless system, but since Rode is far more expensive and the Rode Wireless Go 2 is even more expensive, that also comes with the 2 wireless transmitters, this actually is a very challenging option because in the kit already comes in the lavalier microphone for both transmitters, as well as the dead cuts for the 2 transmitters if you don't want to use it with a lavalier sort of a microphone connected to it. As well as it's got really nice, hard but soft inside pouch to carry conveniently all 3 devices. Oh, and lastly, it's got all the cables that you need. While with the Rode Wireless Go, I had to purchase the cable for my phone separately. And it all comes with the Synco system at the price that you're purchasing the bundle. So you can't really compare it directly, but you have to add some of the pieces that you will have to invest in the Rode Wireless or Rode Wireless Go 2 to have a direct comparison. Hence, for the price, we are talking pretty much 50% of Rode's price. And now I'm just hoping that the quality will be equally good. And now the path starts turning around because we're almost reaching the south side of the Isle of Dogs, because I can start seeing Greenwich and the Imperial College, even the Greenwich Observatory there. That's looking really cool. However, the nicest part that I'm seeing right now is this really long sandy beach. I did not remember being here. I just wonder if there's any access to it. I think I just spotted the access point to the river. Let's go down, let's go on the beach. And at this part of the walk, you might be thinking, why hasn't there been any time lapses in this vlog yet, Michael? And to be honest, today I felt like just going for a walk. I'm actually meeting with Fabian later on, and I will be shooting a time lapse. However, on this walk today, that's what I wanted to do. Just test this new system, test this new vlog setup, and just go for a nice walk. We got river access, let's go. And we're on a beach, proper soft sandy beach, most likely clay. I can feel it sinking a little bit. I think the area there will be a little bit harder. But yeah, nice sandy soft beach. My shoes will be absolutely dirty. Yeah, this went deep. Okay, this is better. This is pretty cool, and I guess we can do a range test. So yeah, I'm probably about 10-15 meters away, and that worked perfectly fine. So it's quite a decent range, especially as I was turning around and I have my transmitter in a pocket. So yeah, pretty well. You know, it has to be done. Even though I regret doing it every time, it's just something that has to be included in the video. Okay, enough of the beach experience. Let's get back to the path, clean my shoes, because because you can't avoid that. You just have to clean the shoes after walking on a beach. I can feel it's getting softer. Oh my God, the shoes will be filthy. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous. Anyway, it was worth it. I enjoy walking on a beach. That's just something what I like to do. Don't know if I'm smudging it or actually cleaning it. By the way, I always like photographing this development from probably 70s or 80s from the other side in Greenwich. When it catches some nice sunset, it looks fantastic, and it seems like because it's a bit more creative than just standard square rectangular blocks, loads of apartments here have fantastic balconies, which is very uncommon and probably common more in that era of architecture, because it's not quite brutalist, but I think it's slightly post-brutalist, slightly different style, but just, it looks different, it looks odd. It's like weird shapes in every one of these three buildings. Really cool. Funny enough, I was just texting Fabian, telling him where I am in comparison where he already is, that we're gonna shoot a sunset time-lapse. So he said that I am at Ferguson's Wharf estate. So that's the name of this nice development that I really like. And behind me you see the perfectly symmetrical view towards Greenwich Observatory through the Imperial Naval College. Old Naval College in Greenwich, that's what it is. Not perfectly symmetrical. The perfectly symmetrical spot is a little bit further down that way. However, I prefer this spot better because you can see the observatory and the top of the hill where every tourist and every Londoner now enjoys a beautiful skyline view. And I'm not quite sure how I've never time-lapsed from this spot before. I have to change that very soon. Not today. I gotta go and meet Fabian. And this is where the tunnel entrance is that you can take under the river, and you'll get off on the other side where you can see the other bubble right next to the Cutty Sark. Wow, this is a new development that I've not even spotted when I've ever shot from Greenwich. It's a pretty cool little garden. It's only one way, so you have to get out and go around this building to continue your Thames Path walk. And before we continue along the Thames Path, I have to show you this one more amazing development housing estate that looks just so cool and so unique, right by the river, right next to the rowing club. And here it is. And this is the name of it. I don't know the name of it. How cool does these buildings look? I absolutely love them. As well as the architect kept space for trees growing actually outside of the building walls. How cool does that look? Buildings like this are really the gems you can find walking on the Thames Path, because it looks so much different to anything else you'll see on the path. I love the style. It's something, I'm guessing at least, around post-brutalism architecture, maybe with some hints of brutalism, but I bet the flats inside the apartments look absolutely phenomenal. Isolate this building in a view and you would never think that it's in London, yet here we are. I love dogs. You can't really get there. It's all fenced off by a wall because it's a private residential estate. But it just looks so cool. It looks like some sort of holiday homes you'd expect by the beach, I don't know, somewhere else, just not central London. And just nearby, we're getting back onto the Thames Path. Okay, where did the sun go? This isn't right. And as it got a bit windy, I've engaged the low pass filter on the transmitter. Not something that I've had on my wireless go, so it's definitely a welcome feature. Continuing along the, not officially Thames Path, because this is part of a private estate with a nice garden and benches just to chill out and enjoy the view. However though, it is private, so we have to get out of this estate and continue around it to the Thames Path. Wow, this view I've never seen before. Really cool alignment along this straight road towards the new skyscrapers of Canary Wharf, as well as you can see One Canada Square, which makes the scene quite familiar. But I really like streets like this. If you've seen my videos, you know that, where there's a leading line of the street with houses on both sides and some skyscrapers or a skyline right at the end. And this is the spot, and even buses go down that way. You can make some epic photos here. Really cool coming back here because I've never been here before. This is the first time I'm actually seeing this street. Absolutely epic. I have to admit, I have never walked this part of the Thames Path from the island gardens. I've been further down, but never on this path. Really cool. I absolutely love exploring London and places that you think they are familiar to you, but you've actually never been, and you get surprised how beautiful vistas and views you can get. There is indeed quite a lot of these gardens that say private residents only, but majority of this path that we've walked along so far is public, and that's cool. It should be more public, like some of these piers that we've accessed. All of it should be public, I believe. At least when you're walking around by the river path, that should be public. I'm actually starting to wonder if I'm gonna get to Fabian and the location that he picked for the sunset on time, or will I miss the epic sunset? But the sky is turning lovely candy floss colors, so I'm really liking that. Oh wow, I absolutely love how wide this part of the Thames Path is. It's huge, it's like 15 meters wide from this railing to the edge of where people's gardens end. This is probably the widest part of the Thames Path I've ever been on. I absolutely love seeing all these different kinds of architecture along this walk that I've just never been before. Okay, I see the alignment of the skyscrapers that Fabian told me that he will be shooting, as the sun was meant to be crossing the skyline. However, there's so many clouds that there's gonna be absolutely no sunset whatsoever. But I like the colors above and all the colors above Canary Wharf that are happening. That looks really nice, just no sunset time lapse. Missed that sunset, didn't I? That is an absolute epic sky, and thank you Fabian for the amazing location. So I've quickly set up my time lapse as well, even though there was no sunset. I first had it set to 5-second interval, but when that happened I stopped it and changed it to a 2-second interval in P mode, not to faff around with any filters, and hopefully we'll get some sort of a transition of all these pink clouds happening. With 2-second interval it should be really nice. Shooting with the Z7 II, so I'll have plenty of room to crop in just on a 50mm, because that's the only lens that for some weird reason I brought today with me. But again, 45 megapixels gives me plenty of room to crop in for a 4K. That was absolutely spectacular. The 2-second interval gave me about 10-second time lapse, and I got the pings going across the city skyline and dimming. I should have started it earlier, but we just didn't see it coming. It was cloudy. None of us thought it will blow up like that. Fabian was shooting here for the last hour and a half, I think. So he's got a perfect day to night transition, and he's still running while I actually stopped my time lapse. Thank you for joining me on this walk along the Thames Path from Canary Wharf east along the Isle of Dogs, and we finished here sort of still in the middle of Isle of Dogs, but with a view towards the city with that epic time-lapse that I'm going to show you in a moment. So I would love for you to let me know in the comments if you like this video. Like, subscribe, you know what to do. It's not your first YouTube video that you're watching.
And here's the final time lapse. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.